hard Gemara, but unfamiliar Gemaras. Let's call it that. All right. Okay, we're on Nun Dalid Omid Bay's top line. So already we're in one Omid into today's daf. Somar Ula Mishmei the Barpada. Ula said the name of Barpada. Again, we're going through the sugya of being makdish a woman with hektish and ma'aser sheni. Right, you have machlokes Ramei and Rabbi Yehuda throughout this whole thing with hektish and ma'aser sheni. If it's done for amazing,
you put that away.
Right, so we're going back.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Zokti Gemara, Amar Ula Mishmei the Barpada. Ramei said, hektish b'mezid mischalo, b'shoygeg ein mischalo. Hektish, if you do it on purpose, it becomes chulin. Meaning, if you purposely take your hektish and you buy grape juice with it, so then it becomes chulin. B'shoygeg ein mischalo. If you did it by mistake, then it doesn't become chulin, and you're not over a meila. And we only said that if you did it b'shoygeg, it's only been negayah to a carbon. Meaning you're still going to have to bring a carbon meila. Right? Well, if it doesn't go into chulin, so why is it chayiv a carbon? Right? Meaning the whole point is that if this hektish does not go into chulin, that means it's still hektish. If it's still hektish, that means you didn't use it. You didn't knock it out from hektish to chulin. That's a big yesod that we're going to be going over and over again. If it goes from hektish to chulin, then that means that you took it out of its kedusha and you're chayav meila. If it stays in its hektish state, then you're not over on meila. Right? Yeah. Right. So we say so Eliki also Ravin Parish Mishmei Rapado. I'm a Ramei Hektish b'Mezim Masal b'Shagig Ein Masal v'Lay Amru b'Shagig Masal El Inin Achila Bilvad. Right. It's what he says is that it's only that Shagig was only been began to eating it, meaning if he used the hektish in a way that he consumed it, that's when it's chulin. That's when it goes out to chulin. But Rashi says if he ate a loaf of bread that was hektish. He says, and Rashi says same thing with lighting a candle that was hektish, right? But taking money from hektish, that doesn't have meila because it doesn't go out of rishus hektish. It stays hektish wherever it is, right? So he changed what Bapada said. Fine. Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rav Ada bar Ava. Halacha Rameir b'Maiser. The halacha is like Rameir by Maiser, which that Maiser is considered Mama Gavaya. However, Stam Sosamlon Tanakava says since it's a Stam Mishnah like Rameir, so therefore it goes like we pass on like Rameir by Maiser Shena. Halacha Rabbi Yehuda b'Hektish, and the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda by Hektish, that it only becomes chulin b'shoygeg, but not b'mezid. However, Stamlon Tanakava says since we have a Stam Mishnah. Like Rabbi Yehuda, Kuramei, Meiser Mahi, what's the Mishnah like Rameir? The Tan Kerem Ravai. So Kerem Ravai is similar to Meiser Sheni. Kerem Ravai is the first 3 years you have Arla. The 4th year by a vineyard, you still can't eat it. You have to bring it up to Yerushalayim, right? And you eat it there, same as Meiser Sheni. So you can also be paid it, but it says Beshamay Mein Lo Chaimish, Mein Lo Bir. Beshamay says there's no chaimish, meaning normally by Ma'aser Sheni, if you're going to be paid it to yourself, you need to add a 5th, right? But by Kerem Ravai, you don't have to do that. Bein loy beer, and there is no maximum time, right? Ubesil alayim yesh loy. Besil says no, it does. Beshami yesh loy peret v'yesh loy oilus. Beshami says it has peret and oilus. I remember Racham when we went through exactly what the difference is between peret and oilus. Peret seems as grapes that come off the vine. Right, it's the same thing as what do you call it? Leket and shikha by grain. So peret and oilulus is by grapes, right? Oilulus is that they didn't grow. So Bishami says it has peret and oilus because it's like it's yours. It all goes to the gas, to the wine press, which just means it belongs to you. Now, what we're saying here is that Beishamai says that it's different. It's not like Maisa Sheni, and Beis says it is. So my time of the Beis Gamri Kaddish Mi Meiser, Ma Meiser Yesh L'Chamish V'Yesh L'Bir. Just like Meiser has Chamish and beer, Av Kerem Revai Yesh L'Chamish V'Yesh L'Bir, Yesh Loi Beer. With Shama Loi Gamri Kaddish Mi Meiser, he doesn't learn it out. Beis Hillel Kim Meiser, and this that Beis says it's like Meiser Keman Tzvira. Who does he go like? He could have Yehuda. Amai Kula Lagas. If he's saying that Kerem Revai has the same status as Meiser Sheni, and he goes like Rabbi Yehuda, how can you say it goes to Kula Lagas? Omer Meiser Mammon Hedjit, who he says Meiser is Mammon Hedjit, and it should have Peret and Oilus. Again, if it's your own, then it has Peret and Oilus. If it belongs to Hashem, it doesn't have Peret and Oilus. So if you go like Rabbi Yehuda, so then how can you say that you're allowed to use all the grapes from the Kerem Revai? Right? You can't. Elalav Kerameir must be this mission is going like Rameir, meaning Beis Hillel, we normally paskin like Beis Hillel, and Beis Hillel fits with Rameir. Right, so that's one proof of a Mishnah that we go like Rameir by Maisa. Rabbi Yehuda behektish Ma'i. What's the Mishnah that we paskin that stam Mishnah is like Rabbi Yehuda behektish tan shilach biyad pikeach. If a guy sends, again, this is talking about the what do you call it, the gizbar, right? This guy must not be the greatest gizbar because he keeps mixing up his own money with the Beis Hamikdash's money. But let's say he sends money to be spent for the Beis Hamikdash with a smart guy, meaning a regular person. And he remembers before the guy got to the store owner that, oops, I gave him the wrong money. Okay, so now they both remembered. He remembered, and the Bikeach remembered. So Chenveni, the Chenveni is over on Me'ilah. Right? So Gemara says, so what you see right there? That if it's done on purpose, right, then he's mal. So I think that's the right? I'm sorry, no, the Fakir. The Chenveni is doing it by mistake. He didn't know. Yeah, so whatever it is, yeah, the guy did it b'shogeg. So according to Yehuda, that's enough. That's it's out, right? So fine. So now we have a Mishnah like Rabbi Yehuda, we have a Mishnah like Rameir. Fine, Rabbi Yehuda b'maiser miloi tanan. Rabbi Yehuda, we don't have a Mishnah like Rabbi Yehuda by Meiser. But tanan apoy the Meiser sheni shaloi. Let's say somebody was paid his own Meiser sheni Meiser v'lav chamishi soy. You have to add on a fifth, like we said before. Bein mishaloi, whether it's his, bein shenitin lebe matana, or it was given to him as a present, right? Meaning, whether it was the Ma'aser Sheni was from his own fruits, or somebody gave him a present of Ma'aser Sheni, right? And he wants to be paid it, so he has to add a fifth. So money, can somebody give Ma'aser Sheni as a present? Rameir holds Ma'aser belongs to Hashem. Right? Allah, Rabbi Yehuda must be that it's going according to Rabbi Yehuda. So you see there's a Stam Mishnah, like right, like Rabbi Yehuda. Right? Last thing where it says Rameir. No, that price could be like Rameir. Mishnah could be like Rameir. So where he gave him the present when before it was Meiser. Right? Because of our matanas shaloi hormu kemi shaloi hormu damai. Matanas, meaning chumas and maisers, how do you say it? That were not the truma, meaning it wasn't separated. And we don't look at them as if they're separated. Right? Meaning, do we look when somebody, let's say, has 10, we discussed it a couple of days ago, I think. All right, somebody has 10 apples. Do we look at it automatically that one of those 10 apples already has kedusha to it, or not necessarily kedusha, but it's meiser or not? Right. So this Gemara is going with the shita that says it's not. It's not considered yours. I mean, it's not considered hektish. It's considered yours. Right? It's not considered yours. So in Mele, you can give it. Meaning he could give it as a present before the Meiser came off. Yeah? Fine. So therefore that could fit according to the mayor. Toshima, another Mishnah. Apai the net the Ravai Shalai. Somebody's being paid is net the Ravai. Right? That's the fourth year fruits after Arla. You have to add on a fifth. Right? Whether it's his or whether it's from Matana. So money, how can he give it? For Gamri Kodesh Mimaisa. We learn that Kodesh from Maisa. Right? So how can you give it? It's you're not allowed to give gifts because it's considered Shel Gavoya. Elalah Rabbi Yehuda must be it's going according to Rabbi Yehuda. When it says no, La'ilam Rameir. When it's going to go the Yavgashu Smadar. He gave the grapes when it was still in Smadar. Smadar means that it was not ripe. It's excluding Rabbi Yossi, who holds that Smadar is considered a fruit. So he gave this thing away before it even had a din of fruits. If it didn't have a din of fruits, and there's no din of Ma'aser Sheni yet. Okay, a third case, Tashima. So a guy's going to be paid his Ma'aser Sheni. So he pulled the Ma'aser, he pulled the Ma'aser for a seller, meaning when it was worth a seller, he was kainet, but he wasn't able to pay for it. The price went up. So now, does he owe more money to the Ma'aser Sheni or not? So nice and seller, he only has to give a seller. Umastaker b'seller. He profited. He makes profits of a seller. Meaning he was lucky. Ma'aser Sheni shaloi, and the Ma'aser Sheni is his. So money. Why is he being Mustaka B'Sela? He says, "V'nosan HaKesef V'Kamlei." Give the kesef. I'm sorry, V'nosan HaKesef V'Kamlei Amar Rachmana. The Torah says, give him the kesef, and it's going to be his. Right? So Mamela, it doesn't. The kinyan doesn't work with just Meshicha. Elalah Rabbi Yehuda must be it's going to Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that Ma'aser Sheni has no kedusha, and the standard way of being kainet is what happened. So the Gemara answers, La'ilam Rabbi Yehuda. It's not. No, that price still doesn't mean it's Rabbi Yehuda. That Mishnah, I'm sorry, V'hacha Chad Stama. By here, you only have one stam Mishnah. V'hacha Trei Stami. But for a mayor, you have two stam Mishnahs. So two stam Mishnahs is better than one stam Mishnah. The Gemara has the kasha on this. I'm not clear what this Gemara's kasha is. 3 lines up from the bottom. Dafka, right? If stam means stam mishnah, dafka mali chad stam mali trei stami. What's the difference if it's one stam mishnah or two stam mishnahs? I don't understand. The Gemara is asking. Okay, why is two stam mishnahs stronger than one stam mishnah? Right? I'm saying, but we have conflicting stam mishnahs. No? I think. Well, okay, so I don't know exactly. Fine. So we learned in Bechirta. Bechirta means the choicest ones. That's referring to the Sefta Idius. The Sefta Idius is Eidos about all different sorts of machloksim that they have throughout Shas. So if Idius decides to paskin like one shita, that has a lot of clout. Right? So that's what we're saying. Okay, on to Amid Aleph now. Tomorrow's daf. Tanan awesome. So we have another Mishnah. All right. Behema shenimtzas miyushalayim lemigdal eder. Any animal that's found from Yerushalayim to Migdal Eder, ukemidas l'chol ruach, and it's that measurement around the whole thing. Like on the maps, it shows you a dot, then there's a circle around it. So within that amount of radius, from Yerushalayim up to Migdal Eder, if you find an animal, Sacharim oilas, if it's a male animal, it's considered an oila, because nekevas are not oilas. And nekevas, zivche shlamim. And nekevas are zivche shlamim. Right? Because it's a shlamim, because that's usually, that doesn't mean usually, but nekevas could be shlamim. So Gemara says, Elas charim oilas udahava zivche shlamim lo yahava. What are you saying? Yes, we understand that if it's a male, it has to be an oila, because a female can't be an oila. But if it's a female, I'm sorry, but if it's a male, who says it can't be a shlomim also? I mean, you found this animal. The assumption is you find an animal around Yerushalayim, that animal was a carbon. So you can't use it. We consider it hektish. Question, what do we do with it? Huh? All right, so what do you do with it? So you have to either bring it as an oil or bring it as a shlomim. So the Gemara is asking, well, why are you saying to bring it as a male, as an oil? It could be a shlomim too. Is that
midin svek sveka?
Is it midin svek sveka?
Otherwise, why wouldn't I have to be machmer anyway? I have to be machmer. It's an oil.
What?
If it's one suffix, I have to be machmer and say it's an oil. How can I possibly say it's a shlomim? Being matri kachim the zarev.
I don't think the Gemara means to say that it should be a shlomim. It's just saying, how do you know that you just treat it necessarily as an oila?
There's no choice. Why isn't that pashut?
What do you mean? Because you want
Why
to
is there no choice? Why is there no choice?
We have a suffix if it's kachim or kachim kalim.
I don't know if you want to say. I don't know. The Chum said that the Chum created the suffix. They already said you had to be machmir. I don't know if there's a real suffix. They just decided to be machmir. That's all. You don't know if there's a suffix.
Machmir on what? There has to be a suffix
on animals found within the 9 miles of the Mikdash. You have to think they're at the korbanos. That's already a chumrah.
That was already one suffix. It's a suffix whether they're korbanos. So that's a suffix. We pass them with Roy. That's a top Rashi. We pass them with Roy. The Roy animals that come out of Yerushalayim are kachin.
Yeah, well, we're passing the Roy.
Now we have another suffix. Which carbon?
Wait. Mishum the chashin and shema mi Yerushalayim yotzu and Roy animals that come out of Yerushalayim of korbanos. That's already a big chumrah. No way that this animals. They decided that we're saying it came from Yerushalayim. Maybe it took an Uber. Didn't come out of Yerushalayim.
Listen, that's
no. Look at Rashi. You told me to look at Rashi. I looked at Rashi. Maybe came out of Yerushalayim, and an animal comes to Yerushalayim. So that's very flimsy. It's very flimsy.
I think Gershon is more asking on why Oila as opposed to Shlomim, right? That's what you're asking? As opposed to the whole suffix here. Okay, I hear. All right, I hear. But either way, so I'm going to we're talking about a how do you call it? A good Samaritan? Would that be the word? A good Samaritan? Meaning he's going to take care of this carbon. And he's going to do both. We're concerned that maybe they're oilers. Right? What are you going to do? This guy, since he's going to take this animal and he's going to be paid it onto money for a shlomim and for an oiler. This is an expensive proposition for this good Samaritan. Right? He got the right. He got the luck of the draw. Right? He found an animal. Wonderful. Well, sorry, buddy, it's hektish. Right? Not only that, but if you really want to take care of it properly, you're gonna have to bring two two karbonis to replace this. Maybe it's an oil, maybe it's a shalom. But a meir damer hektish b'meizin mischal, and it's going according to a meir who holds that you can be mechalal hektish on purpose because the guy's going to do it on purpose. Right, the guy's going to do it on purpose. Right, he's going to be mechalal kachim. This animal has kedusha to it. He's going to be mechalal it onto other animals. So this animal is going to go out of hektish, and it's going to transfer onto two other animals, one a oila, one a shlomim, which the Gemara is going to ask in a blot from now. What are we telling this guy to do an isser? Are we telling this guy to do an isser? Right? Fine, but we'll get back to that. So, meaning he's taking something hektish and he's putting it out to chulin by transferring the kedusha onto two different animals. Right?
Who said he can use the original animal? Maybe that's Yiruachi's stove.
So we're going to have to see. But right now it sounds like he's being. Why shouldn't he? Why shouldn't he be able to use it?
Because ein mechal in kachay aguf.
What?
Because you can't be mechal kachay aguf because of this question.
Well, that's the Gemara's going to ask now, right? But let's see the whole Gemara. So Gemara says kedusha zaguf mi mischalo. Can he be mechal kedusha zaguf? Now kedusha zaguf. How do you call kedusha zaguf? It's intrinsic kedusha. Meaning it itself is kedusha, as opposed to money, right? The animal itself is kedusha. Can you be mechal an animal of Tanan ain moil achar moil b'kedushin? There's no such thing as meila after meila by hektish. Ella bebehema ubeklisharis bovad. Only by an animal and klisharis. What does this mean? Keitzan. Well, you're right. Al gabi behema. A guy's riding on a behema, which was of hektish. And then his friend came and wrote on it. And then his friend came and wrote on that. Kula malu. They were all over on meila, right? Because the animal never left hektish. So each guy, when he rides on this animal, it doesn't go out to chulin. So every guy that rides, it's got a problem. If he was drinking from a silver cup, they're all over on mila. So you see that an animal or klei shores cannot go out to chulin, right? So then, how are you taking this animal and making it go out to chulin, right? By transferring the kedusha onto a shlomim and to an oila, right? So the Gemara says, "Ahi Rabbi Yehuda, that's going according to Rabbi Yehuda. Oh, Rameir, this one is going according to Rameir, so it's no stira." So the Gemara says, "Me the Rabbi Yehuda nishma Rameir," but from Rabbi Yehuda we hear from Rameir, Lavam Rabbi Yehuda hektish b'shoigig mischalo. Doesn't Rabbi Yehuda hold that hektish on b'shoigig becomes chulin? Kedusha zaguf loy mischalo, but kedusha zaguf doesn't become chulin. The Rameir nami, according to Rameir too, afagav the hektish b'meizid mischalo. Even though hektish can become mechulol b'meizid, kedusha zaguf loy mischalo, but kedusha zaguf can't. Meaning, whatever Rabbi Yehuda holds of making something into chulin, Rameir is going to hold the same thing, just on a different level. So my answer is Hasan loika mechavan lafkinu l'chulin. There, he didn't have kavana to let it go out to chulin, right? That wasn't his intention. His intention was to use it. Torah says it goes out to hacha, but here, kamechavan lafkinu l'chulin. Here he's doing it with kavana. Right, so memela, meaning he's doing it by kavana because we don't know what animal this is. It's going to be a shlomim or an oil. So memela, that's what he does with. So when it says Amar the Shammos the Rameir b'kachi kachim b'kachi kalam mishamas lay. When did Rameir say this? That if you do b'mezid with hektish it becomes chulin. That's by kachi kachim. B'kachi kalam mishamas lay. Does he go with kachim kalam? Well, if you're going to say kachim kachim, which is the holiest, becomes chulin, so kachim kalam isn't it a kal v'chayim? Fine. Itmar nami Amar Rav Chama Rav Akiva Amar Rav Yosef Rav Chanina Amar Hayir Meir hektish b'meizid mischalo. Hektish, if you do it on purpose, it becomes chulin. B'shoigeg ein mischalo. Echad kachim kalam, whether it's kachim kachim or kachim kalam. Kal v'chaymer kachim mischalim kachim kalam like kol shekain. If kachikachim become chulin, so kachikalim, no, that isn't that for sure. On Tomei Beis now. So Tehiba Rav Yochanan wondered about this whole case. Right? We mentioned this before. This guy's a good Samaritan, right? He finds an animal outside Yerushalayim. We have no idea if this is an Oila, Shlomim. So we tell the guy, okay, so if you really want to do it right, be paid to get two animals and put the Kedusha from this animal onto a Shlomim and onto an Oila, two different animals. But Lamaisa, he's taking something that's hektish and he's knocking it out. That you're not allowed to do that. Right? So Elam and Rav Yochanan changes the pshat, which was what Gershon was saying. Mamtin lo acha toimim. He doesn't just take this animal and be poided. He waits for it to get a mum. Umaisi shtei behemas, and then he brings shtei behemas umas, and he makes the t'nai. Either it's an oila or a shlom. Right. So again, once it gets a mum, it loses its kedusha anyways. Fine. So the Gemara says, Amar Mars Chorim or Oilas. Now the Gemara is going to go through rapid fire choices. What else? There's a lot more choices to Karbonis, not just Oila and Shlomim. You got all sorts of stuff. Right? Amar Mars Chorim is Oilas. Dilma Toidahi. Maybe it's a carbon Toida. Right? You could either bring a Zachar or a Nekeva carbon Toida. The Maisinami Toida. Yeah, you know what? He's got to bring a third animal. But it's carbon Toida needs to, 40 loaves of bread, like we said. The Maisi Nami Lechem. He's got to bring the bread too. But Dilma Asham who? Maybe it's an Asham. Asham ben Shtei Shanim. And Asham needs to be 2 years old. Bishtakach ben Shana. This animal is only 1 year old. Okay. Dilma Asham Mitzayru. Asham Nazir. Maybe it's an Asham of a Mitzayru or a Nazir. Right? It's 1 year old. So I'm going to answer the Shchichi. That's not common. It's not so common to have a Nazir and a Mitzayr. Okay, but then Pesach, maybe it's a carbon Pesach. Pesach Bismani, Mizur. People are very careful with Pesach, carbon Pesach. The Shalai Bismana, Shlamamu, and a carbon Pesach, not in the time of Pesach, is Taka Shlamim. Okay, then we're going to say, but Dilma Bechor or Maiser. Maybe this animal is a Bechor or Maiser. So Gemara answers, Lamai Hilchasa, what would the difference be if it's Bechor or Maiser? Because what do you do with a Bechor of Maiser? Right? So you put it out to have a mum. We said already he's waiting for it to be a mum. Okay, so that's all the options there. So it ends up being that he has to bring a lot more karbonis than the Gemara initially said. Okay. Amar Mar Nekeva Zivche Shlamim. The Nekevas are Shlamim. Dilma Taidahi. Maybe it's a Taida, which can also be brought as a female. The Maisi Taida. Babin on Lechem. The Maisi Nami Lechem. He does bring Lechem. Dilma Chatasi. Maybe it's a Chatas. So it says Chatas Bashna. Chatas has to be a year old. Bishtakach Bashteshon. The one they found is 2 years old. Okay, but Dilma Chatas Sha'av Rashnasa. Maybe it's a Chatas that it's already more than a year old. It's not common. Meaning that somebody who has a Karmel Chaz is not going to let that thing stay alive for more than a year. Fine. But let's say they do find a nekeva within the first year. What's the din? So Tanya Chanani ben Chinoy Omer Eiz Bashnasa lechatos. Eiz Bashnasa is meant to be a chatos. Chatos al. Are you saying it's a chatos? But how do you know? What you do is you bring it into a kippah. Kippah means into a building, and you starve it to death. Right? That's a literal thing. What you do, meaning you let it starve to death. Right? I don't know why you can't just. Why can't you just wait for a mum? Because you're afraid somebody's going to use it, right? Is that what it is? You want it to die ASAP? Chatas can't be right, or chatas you can't be paida.
Kachim, it's asur b'hana.
Right. It's kachim. You can't do anything with it. So the only thing you got to do is put it into the jail, and that's it. Okay, we'll stop here. We did it. Baruch Hashem. We did I don't know if it was
Yaakov, mamish new
understandable.
records. Mamish new records. We're doing it. We got Zechariah Rezek's got nothing on us.
There you go. Except it's one kunz when it's a hard Gemara that we don't know what's coming or going.